Dear Red / Nikon, keep pushing the innovation with the RF mount. I'm going to be selfish here, okay?
So you want them to stick with RF?
I know they're not long term. There's just no way as a business they can. But I'm asking for the innovation to keep moving forward.
Okay.
Here's my thing. I own a Raptor X. I have a Komodo X. And they both have RF mounts. I want to see them continuously get better. Don't now say, well, we're going to focus on the Z mount and the next version of the camera. I need to see consistent upgrades to that RF mount in things like autofocus. Keep these versions of the camera alive. What I am terrified of is that as soon as a Z mount version of these cameras come out, which is almost inevitable at this point, my existing cameras are going to get dropped like a bad habit. So please keep innovation with the cameras that I already own, because Lord knows I need these cameras to last me a long time because they are expensive. All right, Jerome.
I only got one thing.
Yeah.
Give us a true successor to the Komodo. Give me a Komodo Mark II.
Was the X not a true success?
No. The X is a beautiful, incredible camera. I want a price successor.
You want another Red for $6,000?
I want another Red for $6,000. I want it to be like the Komodo X.
Okay.
In color science and resolution and everything. I just wanted to cost $6,000.
Dear Red, give Jarrell a $6,000 Komodo X. Is that basically what you're asking for?
Give me a Komodo Y. Give me a Komodo.
Give me a Komodo
V.
Why is it so expensive?
But here's the deal. I think they did something one in a lifetime sort of feeling with the Komodo by releasing. If you have to call it a crash cam, give me a crash cam. But they did something. They struck gold with the Komodo.
I agree.
The Komodo X in every way is better, but price wise, just my opinion, just slightly set it out of reach.
I have a question for you. Do you think they can actually capture lightning in a bottle twice? Because here's my thought about this. Because I understand that your big reason why the Komodo was what it was because of the price. And I don't disagree with you. That was a huge reason. It's the reason why I looked at it and got really excited about it, right? But that camera came out at $6,000 when the next cheapest option was $15,000. And the next one above that, which was probably more usable, was $20,000, right? So seeing a Red at $6,000 was so mind-blowing that it was like, oh my gosh, I want to get this thing. If they come out with another Red today, that's also $6,000, will people be so excited about it, especially when you have way more competition at the $6,000 price point and cheaper already?
People love the Komodo still. I still hear about people buying the Komodo. I think if we got the updated color science from the X, that's all I really want. In the Komodo, I think it would be, and I know I'm asking for, I feel like I'm unrealistic. I'm asking for the Komodo X at $6,000.
Well, that's unrealistic.
But what could you strip out of the Komodo X realistically?
I mean, just the ability to attach to the DSC-M3 accessories.
I would do that.
What battery would you want? Would you want that Canon battery
for $6,000?
You'll deal with it?
I'll deal with it.
Okay.
Because I'll buy an adapter and put a mini V mount on it.
Yeah. Well, let's go in. Dear Red, you are chef's kiss. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this week's episode. I love it. That's a great way to end the show. Good job, Rumen. Everybody, round of applause. Drill.
Seriously, he's a paid actor.
He is not a paid actor.
We'll super chat you later.
Yep. Shout out Ruben. He's been crushing it all day. Love it what he has to say so far. Ooh, do I want to take this question? Oh, it's his birthday. We should just pull him up real quick. Go ahead.
I'm buying a Komodo in the next month. I'm currently on Sony. Boo. Just a joke. I love you.
Keep reading.
Kind of. Would it be worth switching to Canon or Nikon, or do you think Sony is good for B-cam?
You'll be able to match them. If you're talking about like, can you color grade them and match them? You'll be able to match them if you want to stick with what you got. But if you go the Canon ecosystem with your existing Komodo, everything will be about the same.
Yes.
Same mount. Your lenses will be able to go back and forth between your systems. So totally up to you. But the red will be able to match.
Get that R5.
Unfortunately, what I typically find when you work with a red and like a Sony is you color your Sony first, and then you have to bring your red sort of down to match the Sony. You really can't go the other way. Just my opinion, though. Just a guy who doesn't know much. All right, dear Red, add more stills control to Komodo.
Frosty Flake, if you were here last, and I actually don't remember you, but you could be a first-time commenter, long-time listener. But in A24's Civil War,
yep.
They used a red camera. They didn't say.
I looked it up.
Oh, which one?
It is the Raptor X, but it wasn't out yet when they used it.
Wow.
Yep.
Dude, that's
They put an X inside
boy.
of the body of a Raptor.
Yeah.
But they didn't let anybody know. So if you look up behind the scenes pictures, you'll see what looks like a Raptor, but it's actually an X.
Wow. They used that for stills. That's the stills camera in the movie.
So I'll also tell you this. When you shoot on a red, their whole thing about stills is you just capture video. And because you're getting such high 16-bit and you're getting red raw files, you can actually, inside of their own software, take stills out and take them out as D&G raw if you want to. And then you can bring it into Photoshop or Lightroom, and then it literally acts like a photo.
Frosty Flakes, do you want a shutter?
No. All right, here we go. Dear Red, I think it's this. Put Z mount on the camera. I'm okay with that. Dear Red, don't become yellow. I don't know what that means. That doesn't translate in my head. My brain's not getting that one, so I think we should just keep moving.
knows speak no English.
What language? Yeah, yellow. I think he misspelled something there. Let's see. Dear Red, please improve boot times. Please release a 5-inch monitor. Please. No, we love you. So I do agree with the boot time. I 100% agree.
Isn't the auto black bouncing pretty long too?
Yeah, I don't really have to do that. On the Komodo X and on the Raptor, I've not had that issue. On the original Komodo, yeah, you used to have to, black shade it? But I've not had that issue on the X or on the Raptor.
Yeah.
Or Raptor X now, for that matter. So that's not an issue as much, but the boot time is a thing. We were filming yesterday, and literally we were running on like a rover, and so the battery was very small battery. And so every time the camera died, or if we were trying to preserve power, I mean, you're talking 3-4 minutes every time you boot it back up.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a pain.
It's a long time.
It is, especially when you're working with like talent, and they're like, we're ready, and we're like, we're not. Give us a minute. So yeah, that's definitely a thing. And then as far as the 5-inch monitor, I'll dig it for the price, because the current one is $1,700 and it's 7 inches. And it looks kind of comical on the Komodo X.
On the Komodo X.
On the Raptor, it looks great.
Yeah.
But on the Komodo X, it looks kind of comical because it's so big.
Yeah.
And the balance of the camera is all off. But yes, I think a 5-inch monitor would be pretty sick. Dear Red, Z mount. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of that, surprisingly. Dear Red, please give us global vision extended highlights on the Komodo X.
They sound like me.
Yo.
They sound like me.
I'm here for that. I'm here for that all day. I don't know if they can do it, but they definitely should.
Is that a $9,000 upgrade?
No.
To a $10,000 camera?
Bro, just buy a Raptor at that point. Welcome, Justin. He says, I finally made a live stream. Sorry, I'm off topic. Question for Brandon. As a Nikon user, is there an adapter for the Z mount that lets you use Canon or Sony lenses? Yes for Sony, no for Canon. And if you check on my channel, I have an entire video where I put Sony lenses on a Nikon camera, and I talk about that adapter in that video and how it works with the different lenses. So definitely give that one a go. But welcome to the live stream. Happy you can finally make one. All right, let's go. From Marcus, Dear Red, take face detect autofocus out of beta and get it working. Don't abandon this. Okay, so few things. One, face detect autofocus. No, wait. He might be right. Autofocus is out of beta. Face detect autofocus is still in beta. The face detect portion of it is. Look, I agree with you, Marcus, and I think that's why I'm saying don't like fall asleep on this RF mount. Because when we actually had Jared on the show, I don't know, was it when Jared was on the show, did he talk about this? Or did I talk about this with him separately?
I think so, yeah.
Was it on the show?
Yeah.
He was talking about how in order to get autofocusing working on their cameras, and obviously Jared, we're talking about Jared Land, the former CEO of Red, it's a situation where they have to get the lens in, and then they have to actually work with their cameras and the lens in order to get the autofocus to work. And that includes face detect and everything else. And the problem is Canon's not just like sending them the information to do it. They actually have to manufacture or engineer it themselves.
Yeah.
So here's the issue, right? If Nikon comes in and says, we don't really care about RF anymore, they could abandon the support for these lenses, which is not what I want to see happen. So I'm definitely with you, Marcus. Let's get the autofocusing, especially face detect autofocusing, working even better. I like Logan's idea. We'll do a Dear Leica. No one has any comment. Be cheaper. That's it. That's the entire episode for Dear Leica. All right, Dear Red, please get Nikon's autofocusing in your cinema camera. Again, I am here for it, but if that just means ZF, or it's not ZF, Z mount lenses and Z, it just personally that hurts me. But I'm sure a Z mount will probably have pretty decent autofocusing. All right, dear Nikon. Wait, what? We're not on Nikon. But what it says, dear Nikon, get rid of your RAW and let's use Reds in your future cameras. I agree. Ron, I don't know how I feel about this one. Dear Red, drop the RF. I know that's probably coming, but it's still tough as a current owner. All right, these are starting to get depressing, so I'm gonna let you read one.
Dear Red, make monitor that can be used on Nikon for higher R3D files.
So I guess what he's saying is kind of like Blackmagic, how they have their external to be able to use to get more out of the camera, or like a Canon, how they can get more out of the camera if they go external. The only problem with that is it also has to do with the physical hardware on the camera itself, because it's got to be able to output the information via the HDMI.
You know what's interesting? I will say this, and it might be more of a small rig thing, but I feel like I just realized, researching some Red products, that 7-inch monitor can only, correct me if I'm wrong because you have it, but can only be used on Red cameras.
Yes.
That's at $2,000. You can't throw that on your R3. That's wild. That's a never buy. Glory. There ain't no way I'm dropping a $2,000+ on monitor.
We're just gonna keep it pushing.
Gosh.
Hey, thanks so much for checking out the Uncensored channel. Do us a huge favor. If you enjoy this content, hit that subscribe button. We'd love for you to join us live every single Friday at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. We have so much fun and we want you to be there. So subscribe so you don't miss it.